I shouldn't videotape her. Oh, I thought she was speaking still. Oh, let me get the camera up. Look, God's country. My zen time. I love it during the week because it's like my own personal hideaway because no one comes out there. On the weekends, there's people. Can't believe I was just standing on that rock. That rock is one, I jumped all the way down there. But most of the time I jump from that rock down. Here's my turtle rock. Wyatt, I miss you. Remember when you used to sit at that, at the nose? Okay, Belle. Oh, how did it get back on me? Where'd she go? Holy shit, Bella! You little fucktard! Oh my God, don't scare me like that. Come here. Made me cuss on my film. What's that going on? There we go. What's up, baby girl? She used to hate going in the water. Check her out. This used to be my pit bull area when Rufus was alive. Come on, baby girl. Remember your brother? You wouldn't have nothing to do with it? The rocks are slippery. Mommy's done that too. Oh my God. This used to have a rope right here that you could get down because these rocks are slippery when they're wet. I got halfway up climbing out of that water and on the klutz, and I fell from there, slid all the way down, had a big ass bruise all the way down the side of my ass and hip, fell back in the water that I was getting out of and whacked my head. So I have the right to tease my little baby. Get it? Did you see that? So, tomorrow is the full moon. I won't be able to post this on this phone, but till whenever they get my fix. But this is how I zen. You know, when I talk about getting barefooted in earth, literally, it doesn't matter if it's rock, water, you need the elements of earth, right? And with all these crazy planets going into let me sit without falling in the water. With all these crazy ass planets in retrograde and everything, Mercury finally got out of retrograde last weekend. Tomorrow night on the full moon, Venus gets out of retrograde. Also, we're coming out of eclipse season. So if all you guys, including myself, and normally I can ground myself, but there was so much of these planets and everything in these 2 months. So that just, wiped us all out, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, whatever, right? I was constantly breaking shit. I was constantly in my head. I was constantly, just nothing was going right? But then I was able to, this last week, go within, right? I had a bunch of different meltdowns about my son and my grandma, and, everybody that's up in heaven, right? Due to this phone problem. And I'm so grateful that I had that because they saw that, and not to mention 10 years worth of texts and pictures of people I really never want to see again, right, on this phone. And it really got me to go within and see what I am still blocking, what it is that allowed me to make the changes in my life and move forward. Where do I need to move forward still more? Where do I need to embrace? What am I doing good at, right? I always talk about healing and all that stuff. I always forget to mention, you also got to see the really greatness that you've done, right? And tell yourself those things. And so I really got to see of how far I've came, how far I came out of, everything. The loss of my son, right? Where I've gone, how I've done it, how you guys had never criticized me on when I was going through my moments. You in town, or actually everybody on this, because I have family members all over the world and whatever in here. And and y'all know why I post it, so y'all can see it too, because I miss you guys, right? So that kind of shit. And then it got me, you know, this month I miraculously was able, I just paid $500 towards a credit card, was able to put an extra $100 in one. I have multiple savings accounts, and do that and still have like another $400 left over, which is crazy. I'm actually saving that because I do have 4 bills haven't came yet in the mail yet, just to see where I'm at, and but whatever, right? But you get where I'm going at, right? On that part, on the death is on the, let's talk about relationship, because tomorrow is the planet of love, right? That was in retrograde, on giving love to yourself. How do you treat yourself? How do you treat the world? Giving love to your family, your friends, the universe, the planet, right? Do you litter? Do you see trash and pick it up? You know, those kind of things. And part of the texts and pictures and shit were part of my past that I left 9 years ago, and why I vowed that I was gonna stay single for all my life, right? And because I have a bad picker, right? And I was able to go within and go, you know, you have worked on your soul. Last year, on the 8th year, from last year to this year, I've kind of dabbled in going out with some people, you know, to see how that plays or whatever. Last year I thought I was ready, right? And I still needed some work in my soul, right? Because I'm working on this other new program, and I really need to stay focused on that. But once that's done, right, I'll be able to look in the mirror and be like, you know, I'm finally ready. I finally do want to grow old with somebody. I actually finally want a mate for life, right? And what does that look like? You know, questioning my own self. And you have to do this with your own self. You know, what does that look like to you? You know, I have to have that person that I respect. I have to have that person, that ride or die person that will have a fucking backbone and be like, bitch, you're being a little crazy. Let's pull out of this. How are we going to go through this? What are we going to do? You know, get into solution, right? Spirituality, you know, that kind of shit. But a lot more. But like, you have to question yourself in that category. What does that represent, right? Let's see, what else? Because all these planets hit every category of your life. The finances, the health. Okay, so I talked about the finances, I talked about relationship, I talked about death, right? So your health. You know, y'all know I almost lost my life twice, from 2021 to 2023, and that's where the death came in, and that kind of shit. What is it that I'm still blocking, why I can't get like all of these symptoms to go away? Most of them are gone, you know, probably about 70%. You know, there's still 30%, maybe 40 sometimes when a hot flash hits or a cold flash, but lingering, right? Where is it that you need to go within? What is it that you are missing? Where is it that you need to grow? How have you grown? What are the achievements that you have? You know, like for me, the hot flashes, they're only, my witching hours are only really from 6 at night till 8 at night, right? I'm sweating. I'm not waking up where let me turn this music. Well, I like that song. You know, the good part, you know, I'm not waking up where I'm dripping wet and stripping my clothes off and wringing them out. I still have to strip down. You know, I like pajamas and socks, so I'm always like, and I love blankets. And then I de-shed through the night, right? And, you know, I had to see the good part too, right? I couldn't just complain about the bad part, because what you complain about, you will get. What you see the achievement, you will get. All right, so let's see what else. I talked about finance, health, cognitively, excuse me, I already talked about health, I talked about relationship, I talked about finances, death, time management. You know, these are all the things that I really wanted to work on, and actually what the planets actually represent, right? There's a bunch of other planets I won't go into detail, but these are the core ones that I've been truly working on for the last few years, not just one or two or three, you know. But you all done? Oh look, she's lazy. And so time management, I had to, in January, I've been preaching this forever, you know, since January to everybody, like get your priorities straight. You know, I was running to everybody's beck and call, you know, in the career world, in the AA world, in the family world, in the friendship world, you know, all that shit. I was just running, you know, being a giver. And then I had to reevaluate, who is it that I want to do that for, and who is it that I could love from a distance, and as an energy worker, I can send them energy. I just can't go there, right? And so I picked and chose who I wanted to help, and you know, who I definitely have respect and love, and you know, really want to, I see them wanting to help themselves, right? And those are the people I'll go and help, and you know, go out of my way to help. The ones that don't want the help, or they're, you know, whatever, I'm not going to talk shit to anybody, but that kind of stuff. So I had to prioritize that. That was the first part of my time management. Then I have the 2 careers and 1 part-time job. I had to, in the part-time job in the last couple of years, thank God, they'll give me extra hours to pay off the debt. And, you know, and I always use that money before as just putting in my savings. I'm going to table that part, but the clientele. Let's go with real estate. That'll be faster. The real estate, I double you know, I set goals every year. So I will set a goal of what I want to double, you know, each year, right? So last year I did 2 transactions. I had 3 transactions, but I literally pulled out because I thought, you know, respecting my own boundaries. I was like, nah. So, you know, I let it. I don't need to go there, but and I was okay with it, right? And it was one that you know, that the 4th transaction, the same kind of scenario, right? And so closing 2 transactions out of the 4. Then so this year I put a goal for 5 transactions. What will it look like that I wanted to, and I needed to manifest that, like, you know, I want to be able to really help. And who is it? I had to identify who it was on paper. I always knew who I wanted to help, but what kind of category I wanted to help, but I really had to write it. I don't know why, but power to pen is pen to paper is a really powerful thing, right? So who is it that I wanted to help in that realm, and let the universe send them to me, because I don't seek out people, you know, in any category of my life, in a relationship, in friendship, in workship, in career, in clients. I do not seek, I let them come, right? That's how I have always rolled. And then that's miraculous. So I had to let that go and go, okay, this is where I'm at. I achieved this. This is the good part of me. This is what I really, what brings my heart joy in that category, right? And that's, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, it's, you know, I've got things coming up in the pipeline, which is going to be miraculous, you know, and I'll close by the end of the year, all of them, and as they come, you know, and they're, like I said, they're in the pipelines. And then my main career, my business, my this motivating, the energy work, the holistic healing from the inside out, the skin, the you know, that kind of stuff, the detox, you know, healthy wise. I sat down like, okay, I lost 75% of my career from dying, right? And that is my passion. And like I said, I really don't care about the price tag. You know, the commission, it's not about that. You know, how many people can I help? And so it was like, all right, so I needed to, on paper, figure out where I needed to get, you know, what I needed financially, and then how, what that looked like in clientele, right? And, you know, I sent letters out to all my old clients, and then I let that go, and then turning it over to the universe, and the universe is already showing up and putting new people that I get to help, you know, and with new different issues. And it's just like, which is taking me back old school, right? Of healing. And it's been such a blissful high in that category, right? So then, so those are really the only planets and things that I'll talk about. But you have to go within and what are those things that all these and if you really want to know what all 8 planets were that were in retrograde and why they're aligning up during eclipse season, which amplifies everything, brings everything on like a chipmunk on speed, you can talk to me in person. It's too personal to go on a video, but it really isn't it's not a bad thing. Like people, I'll end with this one on Mercury. People always talk shit about Mercury retrograde. Oh yeah, of course electronics are going to break up, communications are going to break up, relationships are going to break up, car accidents are going to happen, all that, right? Computer problem, that kind of thing. Any form of communication, right? But if you know it's coming, you can protect yourself, you can ground yourself, you can pray about it, you can, there's a lot of different things that you can do, and sit back and watch the circus go on, right? And kind of giggle, because laughter brings that vibration up. Even if you're going through it like I was, renderously, going through it, I was still able throughout the day. Like I said a couple days ago, I was losing my shit, but the shits that I'm losing are littler than like crazy style, right? And so there's growth in that, and you have to not take yourself, my old sponsor Ed, he used to always say, don't take yourself so seriously. Rule 62. It's actually printed on our wall at Serenity. For if you guys ever know me impersonally, and you see me sitting against the wall, I will go over and read all those over and over again in a meeting if I'm going through something, or if somebody's irritating me in a meeting. I'll read through those things and center myself in what they represent, right? Or I'll do different pressure points or whatever. So, or I will laugh at myself, or I will try to find a way to get out of that negative thought, get out of that negative lower vibration, even if it's one little baby thing that I personally have to do, and it will raise you up. And then the more you just focus on that, I think it was last week, whenever I was like, I am just grateful that I'm waking up and breathing on my own, and I'm not on life support like my son. I had to focus on that all day long, right? To get myself out of it, right? So a lot of people will be like, oh, you talked about the law of the universe, I've done this, I've done that, and it doesn't work, right? So it's the same thing. You plant that seed. It's not going to work on your timing, and it'll be on God's timing. I have things on my dream boards for like 5 years. There's some things that are still on there that I know that it's God's timing. No matter what, everything on those dream boards are coming true, right? So you can't be like, oh, guess what? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Well, the universe goes, right, bitch, it ain't going to happen. And it goes down. That little plant coming up. You plant that seed, you nourish the soil, and then it starts to come up. Before you see it go up into the, up through the earth and come into a bloom, your negativity will push that back down, and it will never bloom. That's plain and simple. That's how the law of the universe works. That's how, everything works. You just have to believe and trust. And when we're human, we're going to get into those funks, myself included. We're never going to be perfect. We're never going to be 100% healed till the day we die, and we're up in heaven with our creators, right? So, show up to the world. These planets were about, all of these planets for the last few years, but it's going to get more intense, right? Because it is really pulling us to come out of that darkness and to seek something higher. It does not matter what religion you are, what spiritual belief you are, what you are and believe in, seek higher in that. Each person's higher power, each person's religion, each person's some kind of form of spirituality is going to be different. Seek higher in yours. Don't let anybody stray you from that. Namaste. All right, Bella. Where'd she go? be sunbathing. I'm gonna, I forgot my bathing suit. I should just skinny dip. There's no one out here. Anyways, peace out.